where actresses Felicity Huffman and Lori Loughlin are headed from the red carpet to federal court amid outrage at college campuses across the country.
That's just so incredibly unfair, and it's taking a spot from someone who really deserves to be here and really wants to be here.
Famous for her role on Full House and married to designer Massimo Giannulli, investigators say Lori Loughlin and her husband agreed to pay bribes totaling $500,000 in exchange for having their two daughters designated as recruits to the USC crew team, despite the fact that they did not participate in crew. Court documents say they even had their girls stage photos as athletes.
I'm going to do a dorm room tour today.
Laughlin's youngest daughter, followed by nearly 2 million people on YouTube, spoke about attending USC.
I do want the experience of like game days, partying. I don't really care about school, as you guys all know.
I was pretty pissed off that someone is able to, pay their way into a school that other students have worked really hard to get into.
Oscar nominee Felicity Huffman is accused of paying $15,000 to boost her oldest daughter's SAT scores. Her husband, William H. Macy, is mentioned in the indictment but is not charged. Investigators say Huffman arranged for a third party to purport to proctor their daughter's SAT and secretly correct her answers.
It's disappointing because it takes a spot from a kid that did it the right way.
Tonight, Hollywood's elite accused of paying top dollar to buy admission to a higher education their children did not earn. Actress Felicity Huffman walking out of court today, but not free of prison. The celebrity brushing past cameras with husband and actor William H. Macy moments after she was sentenced to 14 days behind bars. In front of the judge, the prosecutor said most parents have the moral compass and integrity not to step over the line. The defendant does not. After noting Huffman's fame and wealth several times, the prosecutor said emphatically, there's no paparazzi in prison. Prison is the great equalizer. She must go to prison.
Do you have any regrets?
They avoided the crush of cameras at court by appearing via Zoom amid the pandemic. But actress Lori Loughlin and husband Massimo Giannulli could not steer clear of prison. Loughlin sentenced today to 2 months, a $150,000 fine, and 100 hours of community service. Wiping away tears, Loughlin told the judge, "I thought I was acting out of love. I am truly and profoundly sorry." But the judge, who said he was dumbfounded, called her life a fairy tale. "You stand before me a convicted felon. And for what? The inexplicable desire to grasp even more. We can only hope you will spend the rest of your charmed life to make amends."
Hey everybody, welcome to the series premiere of Celebrity Convicts. I'm your host, Bryce Cameron, and today I am joined by the always lovely, but also over the top in the best way possible, Project Talent USA judge and former LCA star, Leslie Sullivan. How are you?
How are you? I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
I'm great.
Yes.
I love that it just made my Dr. Pepper though look like a little hologram. Look at it. She like disappears. I love that. Yes, Dr. Pepper, if you're watching, please sponsor us. Yes, Dr. Pepper, we're repping you guys. 23 flavors. Hello. But so good, right? So today in the premiere, we're going to talk about the college admissions scandal, which is something that I felt like I was rocked when this news broke, because I mean, let's go to like Lori herself. Like, she is like was America's sweetheart, the Hallmark queen, Aunt Becky. I mean, it was another big name involved. What was your reaction when you first heard about the college admissions scandal and the names attached to it?
The names shocked me. However, the incident didn't shock me. Because, I've always questioned, and maybe this is wrong, but all these celebrities graduating from Princeton and Harvard and UCLA and still making hit movies. And you always had to wonder, now, how the heck did they make that happen? I'm not saying they are all guilty, but I'm saying there had to be some sort of scandal going on for some of these people. Am I shocked that they did it? No, because mothers will do anything for their children.
But doesn't it, what surprised me was like, how do you guys are very rich. Like, how can you not just like afford to just like go to the school? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I mean, you think like with their money, they could just like get in. But the fact that they went through like all these, like they like Lori's daughter like faked the rowing, the pictures, like she was like this rowing champion. Like I thought, for me, I honestly thought like the money could just get you in. I didn't know like they had to go through this elaborate scheme to do this.
Yeah, they have to pass the tests and all these, they have to have all the extracurricular. That's the kind of pressure that kids are under these days. You know, they have to have high test scores. They have to have extracurricular activities, extra sports, extra,
Right.
you know, charity work. And I would have
It's crazy, actually, in my opinion.
What was that?
I think it's crazy, like the amount of what they expect you to be and like encompass
I think
is
it's a lot
insane.
of pressure, not only on the kids but on the parents as well. And
Right.
with the amount of pride, I don't know if pride or ego is the word, and maybe they're the same thing sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
But the celebrity, the kind of image that they have to keep up and portray, they'll go to any lengths, and they've got the money to do it.
Well, I want to talk about I agree. I want to talk about the role of the kid. Like, what role or like share of blame do you think like their children should kind of take in this? Like, for example, Lori's daughter, Olivia Jade, was like this very famous of her own right influencer and beauty like vlogger and all of that. And I mean, obviously the kids, nothing happened to them, and the mom just served 2 months in jail. So like, where do you think like the kind of like scale of blame should be fall upon?
I think they're as responsible, but not higher than their parents, because their parents are their influencers. Their parents are the ones who help them and guide them to make decisions. And, you know, you want to believe that your parents are always right and that they're trying to do the right thing for you. And so they were probably very manipulated by their parents in doing this, thinking, okay, well, if this is what I've got to do, is this going to be okay? Well, my mom says it's okay.
Yeah,
So,
and like Lori herself, like $500,000 for her husband and like the bribes and stuff. That's an insane amount of money for your kid to go to college. It's just ridiculous. But I guess you're right. It comes with like the name and the ego, and you want it to be like, oh, they went here and blah blah.
Mhm.
It's just it to me, the whole thing is crazy.
It is crazy. They're not only an image for the public and have to keep up their star image, but they're also in their own little community that they all compete against each other.
Right.
You know, and it's like the Huffmans against the Laughlins or whoever might be involved.
Right.
Oh, yeah, because they get into their little circles and they're like, well, yeah, you know, Nancy made it into UCLA and she's got a rowing scholarship and she's none of that.
You're right. It kind of it's like a new kind of elevated keeping up with the Joneses type deal. Like,
absolutely.
And it's like, okay, well, this is what she did. Okay, well, you know what? We got to scramble. We got to find a way to like top that. Like, it's crazy to me that they actually had people like sitting in the testing rooms that weren't even like doing it for them, that weren't even them, and stuff like that. Like, to me, that's insane.
There had to be some other payoffs going on and some sleight of eye going on. It couldn't have just been that kid going in with an ID to take the test. I mean,
I definitely think like proctors were. I think there was definitely proctors involved, like testing proctors involved in that. There's no way that it couldn't be. What do you think about? See, what I have a hard time with, though, I guess, is understanding the criminality of it, because I understand that it's wrong, but it feels weird that it's like something that you go to prison for or whatever. So like, where do you fall on that? Like, do you like Lori's husband 6 months in jail? She's 2 months. Felicity 2 weeks. Like, what do you think about that?
Well, I'd like to say we need to make room for the real convicts, but they're in jail. I don't exactly agree with a prison term. You know what I mean? I think a hefty fine and just the reputation that you gain from messing up, and your kids, you know, they got to pay the price. Now you're going to jail, and that's just taking up room in the jails.
I agree. Like, when you see people who are like just horrible, like we're talking like there's rapists who don't even get 6 months in jail. And to think we talked about this before we taped this, you and I, the other day, about how it's this making an example out of them because of who they are. And I actually find that is in a way like kind of wrong, because the average person is probably not going to get that. And it's just like, you want it to become this. Everybody gets caught up in the sensationalism of the story, and it's like we have to keep making it like more exciting and more, I don't know, I feel like everybody gets caught up in it, including the justice system, and wants it to become like a spectacle.
Well, it certainly sold a lot of tabloids and made some movies, that's for sure.
It sure did. Did you watch the Lifetime college admissions scandal movie?
I did.
I did too. Me too.
Yeah. I think
I was a
the
little
fact
disappointed that it wasn't like
Felicity
about
Huffman
Lori and
just got a fine, and Lori Loughlin, who pleaded guilty or who pleaded not guilty, went to jail.
Felicity did serve 11 days in jail.
Oh, 11. My bad.
I mean, Lori served 2 months, but like Felicity served 11 of her 14 days in jail. And then Lori's husband Massimo is serving 6 months, which is interesting to me. That I didn't know he was like, she was married to like a fashion designer and like something to do with Target and all that too. I didn't know any of that.
No, I didn't know any of that either. But I'd have to say overall, I don't agree with anybody going to prison over it. And I think I feel the worst for the children.
Me too.
You know, what they have to live with, even showing their faces in their community.
How do you come back from that? And like, what do you think? Like, how does somebody bounce back from that? Especially not even just the kids, but like you have Felicity and you have Lori, who were these highly esteemed actresses. Like, how do they come back, and do they make a comeback?
I highly doubt it will be. If they do, it's going to be years. I see more faith in maybe Felicity Huffman coming back than Lori Loughlin, just because of how they were portrayed in their shows and stuff. But Hollywood is very unforgiving. You know, even though they've probably done it, the fact that they're being mediaized or, you know, in the media about it, they're condemned.
So do you think that like it's different because Lori has always been portrayed as like the girl next door type, like America's sweetheart, that it's like going to be harder for her to make that kind of comeback, whereas Felicity plays like a hot mess usually, right?
I really do.
That kind of sucks, because that's like a mental thing almost, like, because it's not even like real. Like, that's crazy to me. But I mean, I definitely get it. I mean, she lost Hallmark, she lost Fuller House, she lost like everything. It's crazy. Lost her career over what? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
she thought she was doing something good for her child, to advance her child in society. She had to know it was wrong.
Right. Having the discussion sounds insane. Actually, the more we're talking about it, I'm more like, how does somebody go through with this? Yeah,
because you convince yourself that you're doing the right thing because it's your child. You know, I don't know how many parents have done things wrong just to suit their child's future, or, you know, convince somebody that their child is better for the situation. May it be the soccer team, the cheerleading team, you know, a college, or even a job. You know, parents are constantly fighting these kind of battles for their kids all the time. These guys just went a little higher and more elevated with it and got busted.
How would you feel, like, I mean, if you had a child who was like denied admission to one of these schools in that time period, but like this happened, like, how would you feel? Would you want the school to, like, how would you want to see that kind of rectified?
I'm a true believer in following and getting yourself back up and brushing it off. My whole life has been made from making mistakes and learning from them. So that's the kind of parent I feel I would be with it. You know, my son didn't always get accepted to everything that he tried. But at the same time, do you wonder, like,
was there a situation where somebody was cheating the system and that's why he didn't get accepted or something? Like, you know what I mean? That's how I don't know.
I never thought about it until the college admission scandal.
It's like, wow, is this why I'm not getting what I want? Yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah. It certainly made me think a lot.
So, I mean, how do you think college admissions in general is going to change following this huge blockbuster scandal?
It can go one or two ways. The way it could go where they're a little more lenient on getting people in so that it's not so torturous, or it could go, they're going to be a lot more strict. I think they're going to go and be a lot more strict. It's going to be more difficult to get into colleges. There's going to be more paperwork, more steps. You know, more background checks.
Definitely more verification that you did
Yeah.
the things that you said you did. I don't think a picture of you on a rowing machine should suffice as this is proof that she was on the championship rowing team.
Mm-hmm. And that
You know
includes
what I
the
mean?
school councils that were in on this too.
Yeah.
They were
We're talking
doctoring.
about, right. I know we're talking about the celebrity names, but you have the trickle down effect of like how many
Oh my
people
God.
had to have been involved in this is insane.
Absolutely. I mean, you've got the big guy that was in on, I can't remember his last name. I think it's Ellis.
I can't remember the exact. I can't remember.
And then
Yeah.
you've got the two big names that were dragged through the mud. And then there's so much more to it.
Mhm.
So I think it'll be pretty exciting.
I definitely would want
if she ever writes one.
Oh, you know she's totally going to.
Oh, absolutely. She has to.
Oh my God, absolutely. Yeah, amazing. I can't wait to see her first interview post jail. Like, you know, like I can't wait for her to start trying to make that kind of like media apology tour or something like that. Yeah, I'm very intrigued. I definitely want to learn more about the ins and outs of the whole thing beyond just the fact that like Felicity and Lori. I mean, I know we're talking celebrity convicts here,
I think there's like
I
over
would
50
definitely want to like,
parents
learn.
involved.
It's so crazy
Yeah.
to me. The amount I was shocked though at the amount like Lori spending $500,000 to get this done is astronomical. But yeah, any final thoughts kind of about the college admissions scandal?
I like Lori Loughlin and Felicity Huffman, and I'm not going to hold it against them if they try to come back in their careers. I think it was a mistake, a huge mistake, and I think they paid. So I hate to see.
I think we've seen a lot of people make comebacks following. Me too. We've seen a lot of people make comebacks or stuff like this. I've seen housewives do it. Paula Dean made a comeback after her racism scandal. And next week on Celebrity Convicts, guys, I'm going to be talking about another celebrity who has definitely made a turnaround following her prison time, and that's Martha Stewart. We're going to break down everything that involves Martha Stewart's. I mean, you're definitely welcome to join next week to talk about Martha if you want to.
Sure, I love Martha. I think that she accepted her terms, she served her time, and she came out shining. So I can't wait to talk to you about it.
Oh, shizzle. All right, guys. I want to thank you for being a subscriber to Den Unlimited. And just click around denunlimited.com for more information. And Dr. Pepper, please sponsor us. We love you. All right. Dream big, do good. And thanks again to Leslie Sullivan for joining me.
Absolutely. Bye.
Huffman was released today from federal prison. And as Don Daler reports, Huffman is the first, but not the last, to serve time in the college admissions cheating scandal.
The Desperate Housewives actress is no longer wearing prison garb and walking the yard. Her early release was in keeping with the Bureau of Prisons policy, which states it may release an inmate whose release date falls on a Saturday, Sunday, or legal holiday on the last preceding weekday. Huffman ended up serving 12 of the 14 days she'd been sentenced for paying $15,000 to inflate her daughter's college admissions test score.
Breaking news this morning, actress Lori Loughlin released from prison this morning after serving nearly 2 months behind bars. Eva Pilgrim joins us with the latest. Eva, good morning.
Good morning, Mary. Lori Loughlin actually reported to prison early, and as of today, her time is served. The actress is now expected to go home. This morning, Lori Loughlin is a free woman. The former Full House star released from this Northern California facility today, just in time for New Year's. Loughlin reported to the Federal Correctional Institution in Dublin, California on October 30th. The facility is currently experiencing a COVID outbreak affecting over 180 inmates and 3 staff members. But her team telling ABC News, Lori is in isolation, so she is in no danger. The rules are that when you enter, you go into isolation for 2 weeks, and when you exit, you do the same.